film really traumatized you as a child?
Superman 2 and Superman 3.
All right, Superman 3 had the lady that got sucked into the machine and turned into a robot face.
That freaked me out.
Which is the most frightening thing any kid could be subjected to. So I know what you're talking about there. What was it in Superman 2?
The part where he's depowered, he goes in this like crystal and like his face melts off. But I mean, it looked scary to me as a kid. When you go back now, it just is utterly ridiculous and cheap and poor because he just turns into like a bad cartoon. Yeah. And then like he comes with a skull and there's like bad fire. And it's just, but as a kid, I was like, oh, I can't watch this. So yeah, the Superman movie
was Superman.
It was Superman. He was depowering himself, becoming this like guy with a white shirt.
A white shirt.
Just get like a really clean white shirt.
He gets his ass kicked in a diner as soon as he depowers himself.
Yeah, amazing.
Most people could go their whole lives and not be in a fist fight. Yeah. Superman depowers himself, and 20 minutes later, there's a guy beating him up in a diner.
It just shows you that Superman's actually kind of a jerk. Without the superpowers, he'd just be kind of this arrogant dude.
So what traumatized you?
Oh my God, Sleepaway Camp. No, the movie.
Sleepaway Camp.
This is just a post Friday the 13th schlocky 80s serial killer movie, and it's so bad. The lighting is so bad that you kind of figure out who the killer is because they forget to cover her in shadows. So like you can see that it's one of the characters, and you're like, this murder is happening in broad daylight. So they tried to like stop the light from coming into the room. And then at the very end, right, of this movie, it is so terrible. It turns out that the twist in this film, sorry, spoiler alert, viewing audience, right, is that the main girl in this film, Angela, who's been doing all of the killing, actually, her father was killed in this boating accident, and she was raised as a girl by her crazy aunt, even though she was born a boy. And the trauma of being raised a girl, even though she was actually a boy, was so traumatic that she became a serial killer at camp. And so
talk about a movie you couldn't make today.
So the boy, right? So the boy who she's been like hooking up with at the camp, right? So the last scene. You hear like this like soft like singing in the background, and it's actually dark this time, so they didn't try to fake it. And the counselor's like, "Where is she? Where is she?" And they go out into the woods, and you hear her singing, and you see this sort of like shadowy figure like stroking this guy's head, and then she stands up. She's cut the head off. She's completely naked and covered in blood, and she just has this expression on her face, like this impossibly, like when I was 9 anyway, it's impossibly wide mouth with a little smile in it, and then they just like track in on her for like 2 minutes, and then it just stops, and that's the end of the movie. Oh. And I'm sitting here, I'm 9 years old, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there, and I can feel myself being traumatized by this, and so I finally, like the first thing I said was like, oh, wasn't that scary? And my sisters, who were very cruel, locked me in the laundry room for like 10 minutes and started banging on the door and like screaming and doing all this crazy stuff. And then I slept with the lights on for like 2 years. It was really traumatic.
Mine was a TV movie.
No way.
Yeah, The Dark Night of the Scarecrow, which people in the know.
Yeah.
Where's the camera? If you know this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Dark Night of the Scarecrow. You know how I know that I'm not alone? Because this thing finally got released on DVD last summer. And as soon as it went up on Amazon, the comment thread was like, it leaped to like 431 comments in like 20
Traumatized
hours.
as a boy.
Yeah. Like, no! People were just like, if you release it, then it's out there. And if it's out there, then I might see it. Do not put this on DVD. It is a scary movie with Larry Drake as a mentally challenged man who is friends with a little girl, and the little girl is killed by a dog while he's hanging out with her, and they think that the town thinks he did it. And so his mom says, "Go hide, because the town is coming." And so he runs and he hides in a scarecrow. And he gets up on the cross and everything. He's out there, and they figure out he's in there. So they go out there and they fill him full of lead. And he comes back from the dead and picks them off one by one. Oh. Charles Durning never gets out of a postman uniform. It's a weird movie, but it was bad for me because I grew up in a farm town in Illinois, across the street from a Scarecrow. I mean, my neighbors had one. I didn't know how to go to their door and be like, I saw a TV movie like years ago, and so I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind taking that down. Like, I didn't know how to explain that.
So what channel was it on?
It's on like NBC or whatever. It's a TV movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
It's from the 80s. Has a cult following. I saw it again years later, and it kind of renewed the terror. So I wish I hadn't. But but I recognized it as a beautiful movie.
Do you
It's
think
actually
it would
really well
it would
made.
seem scary for those watching as adult for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it holds up.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've watched bits and pieces of it on YouTube, and it's eerie. It's not, it's like a classic ghost story. It's not, there's nothing too gruesome. There's some gruesome deaths in it, actually, for a TV movie. It's fairly shocking. Stuff, again, that they couldn't do today. What about you?
Well, mine's really embarrassing. You're gonna laugh at me.
Okay.
But Gloria, the Cassavetes.
Cassavetes.
Huh.
I saw. Must have seen was about like.
Obnoxious children!
No, I was about that age, I guess, when I saw it. And you know, there's something that's kind of traumatic about the idea of like running from people trying to shoot you. I mean, it's a kind of, you know, it's a gritty urban kind of crime.
Doesn't he see his parents killed in that
Yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Yeah.